Hi guys, my name is Caleb and this is Wilfred. Together we are the authors of the book Ascendance, The Road to Being Extraordinary. So in this podcast series, we aim to share with you how you can use your strengths to be more motivated and driven at work. And today's episode of Strengths Unlocked, we have specially invited Michelle, and we'll be covering on the talents achiever and restorative. So Michelle, she is currently a financial consultant in her firm and she specializes in the fresh grad market as well as the pre-retirement market. So the fun fact about Michelle is despite her young age, she has almost half her clients that is pre-retirees. And to us, it's very impressive. It's not common. And right now, ever since she joined the career, she has done an MDRT while concurrently having a full-time degree studying economics in NUS. So welcome Michelle to the podcast. And to kickstart everything, maybe can we get Wilfred to share with us on the talents achiever?
Right. So achiever is also one of my favorite talents to talk about. So in this industry where achievements and results are so important and advisors usually work towards it, towards your first MDRT run, which is very close to your heart, I believe, right?
Yep.
Relating to that situation, how were you coping with the feeling about not feeling good enough from time to time?
I think it was very funny when I first saw this strength as one of my top few strengths because it's exactly how I felt even right when I achieved my first MDRT. I was like, okay, everyone's doing it and actually it's just a number and I could be doing maybe 5,000 more, 10,000 more or at the next level of achievement. So it's exactly what this strength entails. So how I coped with it during my run, I think I found myself, even as I achieved maybe the best month leading up to the MDRT, breakthrough months or small wins, which maybe from an outsider POV, they would think that, wow, that's impressive. Or even within the agency, it's just something in you which will always feel like it's just not enough. So I think I only realized it maybe halfway through my MDRT run when I was going through honestly a downer time during the run where I spoke to more of my peers outside of the industry. So I think maybe when we are constantly surrounded with my teammates, where we're all high achievers, we are performing, naturally I tend to feel a bit
more
inferior maybe. So I started to meet more of my friends outside where they are not so familiar with the whole advisory scene, and when they hear things like, wow, you earn X amount of money in a month, and they're like, hey, that's actually impressive. So I start to maybe when I catch myself feeling a bit more inferior in times where I know that actually it's pretty okay.
Deep inside you know, right?
Yeah, deep inside I know that actually okay lah, not bad lah. Then I would focus on maybe spending a bit more time with these people so that I catch on to remind myself that hey, actually there's it's a feat that I should celebrate. I think also speaking to other people helped me, even within the team, leaders, because or teammates, where they catch for example, maybe I go up to them and I tell them wow, I'm feeling a bit down because of this this month, and then they're like, hey, but you did XXX, or you prospected 100 people, and that's not something you would normally do. That in itself is already a improvement or a feat. So I think talking to other people within the agency and out of the agency, it was what helped me to cope with that.
So finding your own cheerleaders,
yes,
right, to remind you of the benchmarks that you should be comparing yourself to, not only someone who's always ahead of you, but always remind you where you are also. So going back to the definition of achiever, I realized I forgot to define that just now at the very start. So to define it for the listeners here, right, achievers are very self-driven because they are constantly looking for the next milestone to achieve. You always want to achieve what's next, and then when you achieve this shiny object, you're like, shit, is that all there is? I want something more. So in a way, it keeps them self-driven and always motivated, but at the same time, they are never contented at where they are, which relates to whatever Michelle just shared, right? Even though she did her breakthrough month, definition of breakthrough is that you really break your previous boundary already. But even that wasn't good enough for her, and I was happy interesting to hear how she coped with that by changing her environment.
So that was in your first year of your career, right? So along the way, how do you also got better deal with this talent of yours that you are achieving at the same time you tell yourself, okay, I need to be contented. So how do you find this balance between achieving and being contented? Like in your mind, like what goes through your mind every day?
Without being complacent.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I personally find it a bit hard to be complacent with this talent. Like it's just
You can't.
like how to be, because I mean it's like innate where you feel like you're really not at where you could be.
Yeah.
Even if you compare with like maybe like let's say you're in the top in Singapore, then I sometimes I dream about it, then I'll think about
How you dream
but
about
the
it?
whole world, like look at other people, like
So small.
yeah, so it's I think hard to be complacent. But your question was
How do you balance between like being
okay.
achieving at the same time, like how do you be contented? Because you're always striving for more. It's like everything is like a 8 of 10. Yeah, I still got two more to go.
That's a very good question. And in fact, I think it's maybe a worry that some of the consultants might have, because I was afraid that, because I catch myself being in that habit of like wanting more,
It's
but
like
maybe
every day,
it might not necessarily always be healthy if you don't catch yourself. So I think I started meditating
Whoa.
and journaling.
Wow, okay.
Maybe in 2023, start of 2023,
last year.
after the first few months of my career. I started meditating because I saw a bit of change from me prior to being a consultant. And being a consultant, not necessarily good or bad, but it's just a mini change, which I'm not sure if I was okay with that, which is too caught up in maybe the results and achievements, which could be a good thing, but I needed to see myself from a third person's POV, so I started meditating and felt like that really helped. I don't do it regularly anymore now. It's a habit quite hard to keep up, but the way of like I've trained my mind to be able to catch myself through that period of meditation. Yeah, so I think that really helped to remind myself to stay content, be grateful. Oh, and also a habit that I picked up during financial consultant years was 3 things that you're grateful for every day before you sleep. So it just conditions yourself to, amidst the chase, amidst the trying to achieve more, we strive to be contented for like with the
Whatever
things
you have now.
Like celebrate the progress instead of like just waiting for the outcome to come. The MDRT, that Centurion, that COT.
And
That may or may not come.
Yeah.
Right.
usually meditation raises your self-awareness about yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to spend, because sometimes, like you say, amidst all the hustle and bustle, we don't really have time to disconnect ourselves and ask ourselves, where am I right now? So you set aside time consciously for that. But you stop meditating now already. So how do you still stay self-aware? Or has it become more of a habit already?
More of a habit than not in terms of mind, not the action itself. But definitely if I
Continue.
start meditating again, I think the results will be even better.
Actually, quite curious. For achiever, because I'm an achiever myself.
Oh, is it?
So
Yeah, me
when you say, okay, do meditation, to achievers, right, meditation is a waste of time. Like sit there, do nothing for 15 minutes,
Not
20 minutes.
productive.
Yeah, not productive. So do you have this thought when you first started meditation?
Wow, I didn't.
I think there's a maximizer speaking though.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Maximizer,
okay.
right?
I have a maximizer.
I
also.
think maximizer and the achievers together. But you don't feel that way.
No, because to me that is one of my achievement points.
Oh.
Like,
Oh,
okay,
wow,
meditating
so
for 5
different,
minutes every day, achievement. And I know that it's to lead me to a
More.
bigger goal. Like, I know it's proven, or people say it to be. Unless it's like I go and drink
Okay.
and thinking that it might give me results, for example, then yeah, it might not be productive, but meditation is proven.
Scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you do anything that can help you reach your goals, you will just do it.
Yes.
In a sense,
Yes.
to it's like a stepping stone. If
Yes.
meditation helps, then
Yeah.
okay. And right now seems like you have a better control of your identity.
We've seen that over the years also.
Yeah. Do you remember a time, maybe even before you joined as a consultant, that this achiever in you, I think, has been throughout your life? Can I say so? Have you started school since young? So what was that raw version of yourself, right, that you can remember, and versus the mature version that you are currently at now? Like what's the difference you see?
Meaning prior to joining FA.
Like
Yeah.
how you handle your school results, or maybe relationships,
Ah,
failures
okay.
or whatever.
stuff like that. Yeah.
When you didn't achieve certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, when it comes to failures, I hate failing. I absolutely hate failing. So, and I think maybe because of the school education system that I've been in, and maybe parenting style, like I've always been just conditioned that I can't not do well in school. And I want it myself also. So I've actually never really failed in the education system wise, because I put in like
So
a lot of hours.
You're very stressed about it?
I was very stressed. Like even in P3, I already started like studying. my mom had to tell me to stop studying.
Okay.
Yeah,
no
so
room to fail, so you can't afford that.
yeah, so when I think after JC, when I started to face a bit more of like trials in non-education life, like personal life, relationships, someone, or like family, and maybe getting my first internship or part-time job, I couldn't handle it. It's the like how can I not get it? Like it really took I mean not like it affected mental health or anything, but I found myself being very caught up in not being able to get something. And from that point to maybe prior to joining FA, to some people maybe they take it as a positive thing that okay, I need to go and try more. But for me, I realized it became a personality trait where I started to find myself too scared to try because I'm scared of it failing. And first year in FA, it really showed also in terms of, let's say, prospecting or reaching out to people. I know that's the end goal, but I'm so scared to fail because there is a possibility.
Yeah.
So I don't do it. Yeah, but I think through the 2 years of FA and through understanding myself a bit better, through some growth, I've overcome that. And I think it's more of every time I catch myself in that, I ask myself, what if I was maybe 10 times more courageous rather than fearful? And then I just do lor. I try to do still a work in progress, but yeah. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Remind me of this quote. Your guy, I tend to end off a segment with a quote usually. So Winston Churchill says this: success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. So I think as an achiever, I would like to, me and Caleb would like to speak on behalf of Caleb, like let you know that I think as how old are you this year?
23.
23. So you started a career at 22 or 21.
21.
Yeah, so at such a young age, I hope to remind you, we hope to be that environment that reminds you also that you have achieved quite a lot at your age already, and that many people listening to this aspires to be like you. And I hope moving forward that whatever new goals that you set for yourself, just remember that the fact that you're trying and continually focusing on progress, the courage to continue, that is something that is worth being proud of yourself really. Yeah, so just to remind you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so to summarize what Michelle mentioned about, being an achiever, at times you can put a lot of pressure on yourself. And she shared about the raw version of herself where she must make it happen. And when things don't go away, so-called failures, she may feel that, like it will help her, like she'll be taken aback by that. But over the years, as she learned how to manage herself better, right, through like talking to friends, seniors, meditating, right, journaling, telling herself like that gratitude, 3 things a day, and also reminding herself that actually she's good enough. That over time she's able to so-called contain that drive, right? I mean, it's still there. Every day it's still there because that's innate. But along the way, you just learn to self-manage better. Yeah. So for the achievers out there that's listening to this podcast, do you have like any advice for them to wrap this segment up?
Maybe one advice would be setting achievable daily goals. I think that was what helped me. I think a mentor once shared with me that rather than maybe like MDRT being or like COT or whatever goals that you have, and then you hit it and you don't feel enough, why not you set small goals every day so that each time you tick off your to-do list or you tick off that goal every day, you are practicing the way of, hey, I achieved this, but every day. So that it becomes more intuitive. Yeah.
Small wins.
Small wins, yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Shall we move to restorative?
Right. So restorative is viewed as a very annoying talent to a lot of people.
Is it?
Yeah. People find it. Many people that I coach, right, when they have restorative, they're like, wow, I hate this talent a lot. Let me tell you why. So people with high restorative, you love solving problems. So you're natural engineers, problem solvers. So in the advisory process, if you manage to help someone uncover something in their financial planning that they did not know about, you find yourself, wow, very satisfied, very energized. But at the same time, when the problem is too big, you completely avoid the problem. You run away from the problem. You are paralyzed by it. So people with high restorative, to flourish in this talent, to make it a strength, you should be working towards breaking down every big problem into small steps, relating to the small wins as well, acknowledging that I just need to do step 1 to 10 before I solve the entire problem, instead of focusing on the entire big problem on hand. So for someone like you in the advisory industry right now, there's so many problems to solve in FA. All of us are still solving problems right now. Prospecting, big problem. People always worry, wow, what if I don't have enough prospects, no appointments? Advisory process, referrals, servicing, sustainability. How do you feel? How do you feel when you're faced with such problems, and how do you deal with how do you break down these problems into smaller ones? Yeah, some examples would be good.
Okay. I think one example that comes to my head would be a prospecting issue, which I faced it. I'm still facing it, but I think managing it a bit better now. But I remember at the start of my career where there was this whole list of people that I wanted to reach out to, but it just like the maybe to get to point A you need to prospect X number of people, but that just seemed so big, and it just resulted in me not wanting to do anything about it. So over the course of my career, I made prospecting into like bite size, like breaking it down. So I know for some consultants maybe they do like 10 a day, 5 a day. For me, I do it in maybe bulks, but consistently. So maybe like 50 a week. Yeah, so I break it down into mini milestone points. Even though I know that maybe finishing the list is very far away. But I know that definitely as long as I keep at this 50, 50, 50, 50, definitely I'm going to get there. I don't think so much about the end goal. Just focus on fixing the mini weekly issues, which is, okay, I need to hit this mini goal of prospecting X number per week. So I think that ties in well with restorative, that it's like a big problem there that had to be solved, and rather than leaving it just as that, how can I break it down to resolve it? Yeah. Maybe other aspects of advisory, let me think. Maybe as I think I just wanted to touch on a point where you talked about solving clients' issues. I am extremely energized by that. And it's really a case where if there's no problem to solve, I always try to find like don't like to just show you something. Like I want to find, like I want to advance you from point A to B, and if there's no advancement, then it's just. But like he's really right that I face clients where the problem is so huge. Maybe I feel it's too complex already that you might not take up this, and I might not be able to deliver it well. I'd rather just sit there, don't do anything. Yeah, so I think that's one pitfall that this talent could fall into. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, day to day, right? Because having this talent restorative, generally, you look at problems more so than, to put it another way, you look at the cup half empty rather than the cup half full, in a sense. So day to day, actually day to day, as you go about your life, like, do you see things? Do you see more problems, or like how do you view the world?
I see more problems, but not in a
negative way.
Not in a negative way. Like
positivity strength helping with that. The positivity talent is covering that.
Yeah, like I'm really happy about the problems. More I see, like, let's say I work in cold storage and I find something that's a bit inefficient, like for example reaching for a product or something is hard, and then I identify a problem, and there's actually many around us. I make it
every day.
Yeah, it's so many problems around us, but in a view of like, problems for us to solve.
It can be better.
Yeah, it can be better. Not in a negative
What's the cold
way.
storage thing again?
I always find myself finding a lot of issues in cold storage. I can't remember.
What?
Like,
specifically cold storage?
Like, let's say
Shout
I want
out
to
to cold
find a
storage.
specific product. Like, actually, but in
like
today's
an item
age,
there,
how can it still be so hard for us to? Why is there no
dig
like,
everywhere lah?
Yeah, for example,
Oh,
Just a reason.
I've never thought of that. I'll just be like, I'll just accept the things accept things as it is, yeah.
Yeah. It's like retail stores already you can
Mm.
key in and locate. But then some retail stores, but Cold Storage.
Don't have.
But
Okay, so you see problems to solve, but not in a way that you find like, why is there so many problems to solve? Life sucks, but more like, sorry, you're saying? You want to add something?
in the outside world, yes. But when it comes to advisory, sometimes because it's tagged to my own personal success, that sometimes I get so connected to the problems because it involves, it's like,
People's money and heart, like their plans and their priorities that are important.
yes, and sometimes it can get negative.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But most of the time, I think it's positive. More of like, hey, how can I help? How can I help?
Mm.
Yeah.
Any techniques or communication methods that you use? Since you said okay, actually every person that we meet has a financial problem.
Mm.
Okay, I mean they either have not enough reserves for the future, or they don't have enough safety nets for today, or they are not allocating their finances properly today. So do you have any ways that because I guess for someone with high restorative listening to this, the better you are at identifying problems or creating problems or showing them the true reality of problems, the more energized every problem will be.
Mm.
Do you have a process or system to show your clients and your friends the problems that they have in their portfolio right now? Yeah. Process, step by step, yeah. What do you do? Maybe you can share.
Okay, like my entire advisory process.
Yeah. Summarize maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Your
Skeleton.
yes. The
Okay,
key,
so when I
key
meet
parts.
when I meet a client, I actually communicate to them that this is my role
Mm.
and I enjoy doing that, and that many people find that consultants are here to share solutions, and maybe that's what you expect. But today, no,
Mm.
I'm excited to find if there's any gaps
Yeah.
that you might potentially have, and if not, please don't worry. Like, you have my assurance that we're not gonna perceive anything.
Yep.
Yeah, so I lay that grounds first, and then after that I'll go into like fact finding. So I'll use some tools that our team has created to help them to identify problems logically. So through like number gaps, because I think it's like I need to see the gap. I'm not sure if my clients
See.
always see it same
Yeah,
way, but
yeah.
I usually try with that first.
Yep.
Yeah, so identifying a number gap in their portfolio. So it could be sum assured gap, or it could be an investment amount gap, but it's logically in front of you that
Yep.
there is that
Yeah,
gap.
facts and figures.
Yeah, facts and figures. So honestly, that's the main two starting points which help me to identify a problem, and I do this for every single client.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's always understanding the situation, finding a gap. Yeah.
I think too many
Through the
consultants are too hurried to offer the solution
Yeah.
without truly understanding whether there's a problem in the first place.
Mm.
Or no, actually there's usually a problem, but they do not spend the time to identify whether the client owns the problem or not.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which you do. You place a lot of
Yes.
emphasis on that more than the solution.
Learned it a lot from you actually. Really, really. And I tell them that it's not my problem. It's you have to really feel it
Yeah.
internally yourself.
Yeah.
If not, it's just me teaching you a
Nice.
class.
Okay.
Okay, and with that being said, usually when you have these conversations with your clients and they cannot see the same way you see it,
Yeah.
how do you feel?
Yeah.
Wow, very frustrated. It's really frustrating in a way, like hey, there's an actual problem you need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
solve.
In
Not
front
as
of
in,
you, yeah.
yeah. And like I want to help you, but you're not seeing it. And
Yeah, yeah.
That's the kind of frustration. Not like
Do it me. No.
yeah. And sometimes I communicate that to them. If I feel that someone who can take that, I really feel it. So I communicate that to them, and sometimes that works when they
Okay.
hear your frustrations and they understand from your point of view.
What you're trying to do for them.
Yeah, it's a bit like a mother to a child like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like you can't see it, but you know that's a problem.
Mm.
Yeah. So
At worst case, if they still cannot see it, then you move on, like, or
I move on. I of course I move on after doing all I can, because there's a limit, ma.
Yeah.
After doing all I can, and I put them somewhere in my
Database.
in my database, and I follow up very regularly actually. But I give them I get the approval that hey, I'm going to check back in with
The
you.
door is always open.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you're going to come back to.
Yes.
Because I think over time the client's life changes,
Mm.
and over time I think the problems that you planted in their head would become more and more real for them.
Mm.
And then when the right place and right time comes, I think you're there to solve the problem
Yes.
eventually. There are some clients that materialize from that, like over time.
Yes, in fact, quite a few.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the seed is important. It is a starting point.
So focus on the macro, what they call it, infinite game. Yeah. Focus on keeping our clients in the database as long as we have made an effort to identify the problem that they have. Get energized by that and remember the problem, write it down, and eventually go back to solve that as they start realizing it over time. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Okay, great. Yeah, so to summarize whatever Michelle has mentioned, for restorative, generally speaking, she enjoys solving problems and she likes to identify problems and subsequently provide solutions to solve that problem. And she mentioned about the cold storage thing that, there are some problems in the world that maybe you cannot really solve, but you are just like, it's like happy to see problems, and problems sometimes becomes opportunities. Yeah, and of course that raw version of yourself is that you identify these problems, and when the problems are too big, you are just like backseat. You're like, okay, maybe it's not within my capability yet, blah blah, and you tell yourself that okay, you are not able to do that, right? But of course, as you mature up in this talent, you realize that actually sometimes you just need to break it down into smaller wins, right? Just now she was talking about that, and over time you can reach this goal. So you set more process goal, right? Means day to day, what must I do to solve this problem? And she mentioned more about in an advisory process, what is her so-called framework to create that problem or to help the client see that problem before offering the solution. Yeah. So for someone that has restorative, what would be one advice that you'd like to give them?
I think whenever you're facing maybe a less exciting point in your career where you're feeling a bit down or results are not showing, knowing that you're someone that enjoys solving problems, shift your focus to maybe example, how can I identify 10 gaps in my client's portfolio today? Yeah, so shifting the focus from maybe like prospecting or commissions or targets to the things that energize you, which is problem solving, and then quantifying that. So like what I mentioned, 10 problems a day. Yeah, maybe that'll help.
Wise quotes from Wilfred.
Lucky I thought about it last minute, in the last 1 minute. So, what's the best way to eat an elephant? Cut it up and eat it. I think that's the quote. Yeah, basically,
in small bites.
Yeah, cut the elephant up and eat it in small bites because an elephant is just too hard for us to swallow. Same things for problems. And thank you so much, Michelle, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks. So today we have covered achiever as well as restorative, and hopefully the listeners, you have some ideas of like how you can use some of these concepts to apply to your business right away. Yeah, so that's it for today's Strengths Unlocked. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.